Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. Speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. It's time again to see what is in the box. Yes, I've been doing this series this last week, kind of revealing all the stuff that I got from my parents' house that they weren't using, all the DVDs and CDs and stuff like that. So yep, I have another box. I have 2 more boxes after this, so almost done with this series. Yeah, I got quite a bit of stuff. Everybody's like, man, you're running out of room, and I am running out of room. I am filling up I have 2 shelves, and I'm filling up that second shelf already with all these DVDs that I'm getting. I'm gonna have just about as many DVDs as I have Blu-rays, because I have a fair amount of Blu-rays. I didn't have that many DVDs, but I've been really getting a lot of DVDs lately, just because of course, these are free, so why not, you know? And anyway, besides that, let's get to see what else I found at my parents' house that I took for myself here. All right, first item. This is the Don Knotts Reluctant Hero Pack. Don Knotts, if you know Don Knotts, of course, first really became famous on the Andy Griffith Show, one of my favorite shows of all time. His character on there, Barney Fife, one of my favorite characters. I'm a big Don Knotts fan. I think he's absolutely hilarious. He's one of the great physical comedians, I think, of all time. Yeah, so actually, I bought this for my mom way back when, because my mom's also a big Don Knotts fan, and so is my dad. They especially love The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, which is the first movie off of this. There's 4 movies. It's kind of 4 big movies that he did after the Andy Griffith Show. If you don't know, he was on like 5 seasons of the Andy Griffith Show, and he thought the show was only going to last 5 seasons. So after the 5th season, he got a deal from some company to make like 4 or 5 movies, and he gets to like pick his own writers, and he gets to pick his own movies that he gets. Anyway, so really he got this like really cool deal where he got to star in his own movies. They gave him like a big picture deal that he can star in like 4 or 5 movies and all that. Anyway, so that's for these movies. That's what comes from the Reluctant Hero Pack here. I'm familiar with 3 of them. One I'm not familiar with at all. I actually still haven't seen. He also was in a movie called the Fantastic Mr. Lippet, where he turns into a fish, and the whole movie he's like a cartoon fish, and there's live action like people in it, but he can talk and he's a fish. I always loved that as a kid. That's not in here, unfortunately. I did really like that movie. That'd be a cool one to get as well. A lot of nostalgia behind that. But anyways, yeah, his first big movie that he made after Andy Griffith Show was The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. It was probably his most famous, most well-known. Really good movie, comedy with Don Knotts. It's just absolutely fantastic. I think, like I said, I love his comedic style. And yeah, I know my parents love that movie, and that's why I got this, I think, for my mom, because I knew she would like to have all these Don Knotts films. But yeah, the second one is Reluctant Astronaut, also a pretty solid movie, where he goes into space accidentally or something like that. And it's funny, Leslie Nielsen's in it, and he plays like a straight character. He's not like a comedic character at all, because he's still in that phase where he's trying to be like a leading man type character before he got a little bit older and he did all the Naked Gun movies. But yeah, that one. And then we got The Shakiest Gun in the West, which I really like that movie. That's definitely one of my favorite Don Knotts movies, where it's actually like I think it's a remake of a Bob Hope movie that he did anyways. But as you can tell, it's a Western, and he's a bit of a coward. I think he's a dentist or something like that, but then he gets involved in, you know, I think he marries somebody, but I don't know, they're trying to scam him or something like that, but then gets into a gunfight, and that's why I call it The Shakiest Gun in the West, because he's so scared. His hand's shaking when he tries to shoot. Not very, as you know, Don Knotts, he's not the heroic type, but anyways, I think it's a really good movie. I enjoy that. And then we got The Love God. The Love God is actually the only movie I still haven't seen from this package. And I remember I've read his biography, his autobiography, Don Knotts, and I've seen like a biography on TV about him. And that movie like didn't do very well. And he describes it as being a little more risque for the time. Like he becomes like I haven't seen the movie, but I think it's something to do with, he becomes like the, what do you call it? I don't know, the owner of like a girly magazine or something like that. And that's why it's called The Love God anyway. So At the time, it was a little like risque type humor, and it didn't do very well in the box office. So it's kind of this bomb movie, but it's in here as well. Yeah, glad to have this kind of cool package. You got this and kind of a slip cover, and then you got a different cover there, different pictures of him. It's the weird thing is it's all on one disc, all 4 movies. There's not 4 different discs. It's just on, and it's just a basic clear disc, so not a lot put into there. But you do get some more pictures of him in the different movies, so not bad packaging, though it's getting a lot of wear and tear, unfortunately. But I'll see if hopefully it still works well whenever I get to watching those again. All right, next I got, it looks like Transformers. Yes, the very first Transformers movie. Now, I saw this in the movie theater. I thought it was great. I was a big fan of it. And whenever it came out, I can't remember when it came out, but man, when it came out, those special effects were amazing. Like, I still think they're really great special effects. Seeing live action, Autobots and Decepticons, whatever, changing into a vehicle from a robot to vehicle to robot, still pretty impressive special effects, I think, at the time. And it was a funny movie too. I thought Shia LaBeouf was great in it. What's his name? Totoro was hilarious. I do think the movies. This is the only movie I'd probably own. I don't like the other movies. They get worse and worse with each movie, in my opinion. And they've done so many Transformers. It's crazy. Until Transformers 1, the animated movie that came out last year, is by far, I think, the best Transformers movie. Is the animated movie that has no connection to the Michael Bay films, but I don't know. I still think this is a fun movie. So when I saw this with my parents, I was like, I'll grab this. I still think I could get it. It's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, because I grabbed that movie too, the Pirates of the Caribbean DVD, because I kind of feel the same way about Pirates of the Caribbean as I feel about Transformers. First movie was really great. It was, unique. It was something you never really seen before, it feels like, and something that really worked, I think, the way they did it. But then the sequels for some reason just never captured that same magic of the first movie and got a little too ridiculous, or the humor didn't work as well story wise. Anyways, so yeah, after this movie I think they get really, really bad. Even the second movie I thought was like okay when I saw it in the theater, but definitely when I got the third one I was like, okay, these are just getting worse and worse. And yeah, unfortunate. It's the kind of thing you get with Michael Bay. I think they get a little too ridiculous. I do like kind of this packaging here. It's like this clear. You got the Transformers there. It's like I believe you got what's his name? Now I'm forgetting names. Got I can't think of the names. The main Decepticon villain here, and then Megatron, I think. Yeah, and then you got the main Autobot hero, and I'm forgetting his name. Anyways, but I like that you can take off this like clear slip cover, and then you just got the two photos there. Not much on the inside really, but this got the film and then also a special features disc. So a whole disc just for special features. So it's kind of a cool 2-disc packaging. The only thing I don't like is like there's no information on it. Like I like to have a little information, like what special features. Like I have no idea what special features are at all, because it doesn't say what they are, and I kind of like what they kind of tell you a little bit, like what to expect on the disc, But that's a little annoying, but still, I don't mind having this in my collection. Again, probably the only Transformers movie I'll get besides Transformers 1. All right, this is my biggest guilty pleasure. I really like this movie, and it's stupid, but I love it, and that is Wild Hogs. If you don't remember this movie, it was a motorcycle comedy back a while ago. Again, it is stupid humor. It's unbelievable. It's unrealistic. I agree. I just laughed so much when I watched this movie. I saw it like twice in the theater. Saw it with my dad, and me and my dad we used to ride motorcycles together and take a lot of motorcycle trips. So I just love the whole idea of this, 4 friends getting together and go on this trip to like California or whatever, and stopping in New Mexico. And by the way, I've been to the place where they shot part of the Maggie's Diner scene. In fact, I got the hat right over here. I can just grab it. This kind of motorcycle kind of whatever you call it. But yeah, it says Wild Hogs on it. It says Maggie's Diner, Madrid, New Mexico, where they go in the movie. and they shot the only scenes they shot, I think, were the Maggie's Diner scenes were shot in Madrid, New Mexico. So yeah, me and my dad drove down to New Mexico and went to Maggie's Diner, which is really just right now just a souvenir shop. You just go in and they got a lot of souvenirs for the movie and stuff. Anyways, but I thought that was really cool that me and my dad rode our motorcycles to New Mexico and got to see where they shot part of this movie. And I got this to remember it all by. And we did ask people around, like, do you remember when they shot the movie here and the different actors? And they kind of, yeah, we remember, and it was like Tim Allen was really nice, and someone else, maybe John Travolta or something like that, was really nice and went around and like signed autographs. And they said Ray Liotta just seemed like he was drunk all the time, and that was the character that he played. So I think maybe he was just really meta with his character, because they said he seemed like he was just drunk all the time. Anyways, but that's just a little tidbit for anybody watching. A little trivia for you. But yeah, I think it's absolutely hilarious, of course, and I love the cast. John Travolta, Tim Allen, William H. Macy, and Martin Lawrence, I think all worked well together. I don't know. This is, to me, like the most quotable movie. Like, I quote this movie all the time. It's just got so many great lines anyways. But yeah, again, I get if you say, oh, this is so stupid, it's one of the worst movies. I don't care. It's one of those movies I just get so much joy out of as a comedy. I'm glad I have it. I always thought, I need to get that on Blu-ray or DVD at some point. But now I got it. Okay, I won't talk too much about this one, because this one might be a little controversial for me to talk too much about. But this is a documentary called Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democrat Party by Dinesh D'Souza. You might have heard of Dinesh D'Souza. He's a conservative author, filmmaker, and he has his own podcast. He talks about conservative, about the news from a conservative viewpoint. I'm trying to think what's the word, conservative pundit, I guess. I don't know. But I've been a big fan of Dinesh D'Souza since I was a kid. I've been reading his books. I think he's probably one of my favorite authors when it comes to writing about politics. I think he's really smart, and I really agree with him on political stuff. Anyways, and he makes really good documentaries as well. And I've watched most of his documentaries. I would say this is my favorite documentary of his. I also had the book that he wrote based on this document, or that he wrote the book probably, and then did the documentary or whatever, or they did at the same time. So I have both the book and now I got the documentary. I actually saw this in the movie theater with my dad, and that was really cool. This was during the 2016 election, of course, where Hillary Clinton was going against Donald Trump for the first time, or Donald Trump was running for the first time. And so this is about Hillary. It's a little bit about Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, and then it's also about the Democrat Party and kind of how that formed and all, and kind of their history anyways. So obviously, if you're a conservative Republican like me, you'll love this movie like I do. If you're a liberal Democrat, don't watch this. It'll just make you angry. But yeah, glad to have that. Okay, I got a couple movies that kind of all tie in together. Let's see if I can find them all here. I think I got them all in a row here. Let's first go with this collection. I actually bought this from my mom, and these are the Road 2 movies with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. They made like 7 movies together or something like that, and they're called the Road 2. Each one is called Road 2, and then a different place that they went to. But yeah, this is kind of cool. These were in the same box collection. I bought this from my mom's, again, some time ago. My mom's a big fan of these movies, and mostly because my grandpa, who, of course, passed away. He's been passed away for a little while now. And yeah, my grandpa was a huge fan of these movies. And my mom was a big fan because she grew up, I think, watching movies with her dad. And then I watch these movies with my mom, and I quite enjoy them. They're good comedies with, Bob Hope, one of the comedy legends, and they work off each other really well because, Bob Hope can be kind of the funny character, and Bing Crosby more the serious one, I guess. Bing Crosby is the one who gets the girls, and Bob Hope always strikes out with the girls. So they have a good kind of duo together there. And like I said, they made all these movies together. But yeah, get the Road to Utopia. Road to Morocco, that's the best one. I say if you're going to watch one of these, I would suggest Road to Morocco. I think it's the funniest one of the bunch. Definitely one I can go back to. Some of these I don't really watch that much, or I don't remember much about. This is Road to Zanzibar. Like I said, I don't remember a lot about these. Road to Singapore, I think might have been their first one, I want to say. But each one looks like has like maybe a making of special feature on it, which is kind of cool. And I like it because they're all kind of look the same. They're all designed the same. But yeah, love to have that in my collection because I like having some of these old movies like this that I got passed down from me from my mom, who got passed down from her grandpa. And so it kind of reminds me of my grandpa, you know, because I knew he loved these movies. Then we got Road to Bali. This is the only one that's in color. Road to Bali, and this is probably my second favorite one of the group. This is actually another really funny one as well. I would say watch Road to Morocco and Road to Bali would be the two I would start with, because I think the other ones definitely do have some slow parts to them, but these are done very, very well. Anyways, but then I think I got one more maybe. We'll see. It might be another package there, but because that's 5 of them. So there's like 2 more. I think there's 7 movies. I think I got all 7 movies from my mom at one time. All right, this is a concert. What do you call it? Yeah, concert DVD of Carly Simon. This is Live from Martha's Vineyard, done in 87. I actually just bought a CD recently of Carly Simon. Called Coming Around Again. I showed that when I went and got that at the used record store. And I remember when I bought this, the reason why I bought this because it reminds me of this. And that's because my mom had this and she used to play it. My mom was, I guess she's a big Carly Simon fan, but I don't know where she got this at some point, and she used to play it when I was a kid, I feel like, which we didn't have DVDs as a kid, so I don't know if we had a VHS tape of it, or I don't know where this DVD came from, but I was kind of surprised when I saw this in my parents' house. So I was like, oh my gosh, I remember watching this as a kid. My mom used to play this all the time on the TV, and I always thought it was really cool. I always liked Carly Simon. It's a really good concert. It says 87. She came out with this CD of this new album, which I really like. It's one of my favorite Carly Simon albums. There's a lot of really good songs on it. And so it was cool that I got this, and now I got this, which has a lot of the songs from this on here as well, because that's when it came out. But it's a cool setting. It's at Martha's Vineyard. She's playing outside, and there's like kind of a small crowd, not a very big crowd, but the view is like beautiful, and the wind's like blowing her hair, and she's at the piano singing. I always thought it was really cool. You got stuff like Anticipation, You're So Vain, Do the Walls Come Down, which is off that album, Two Hot Girls, which is off that album. Nobody Does It Better, the big James Bond song she sings. All I Want Is You. The Stuff That Dreams Are Made Of, which I believe is on that album. Coming Around Again, which is her big hit off of that album. Same name of the album. Some of her big hits she sings in this concert, plus her new material that came out in the CD. But yeah, I was really happy when I found this. Like, yeah, I really want to watch this. Reminds me of when I used to watch it. My mom used to play it all the time. I always thought it was really cool, and I thought the songs were really good. All right, now we're gonna go down under and see Crocodile Dundee. That's my bad Australian accent. But yeah, I didn't know my parents had this. I was like, wow, I don't know who got this. I don't think I did. I don't remember ever owning it, but I was like, this is one of those that I always liked as a kid. It's another childhood favorite. I mean, I think anybody in my generation, I think, grew up watching this and always enjoyed it. And it's a really fun kind of adventure movie, I guess. A little comedy, a little romance. But of this, what a great character, though. I think what really makes this movie is, of course, Paul Hogan. I mean, this is the big Paul Hogan character. This is what made Paul Hogan. Like, he hadn't done a whole lot. I mean, I've seen him in stuff here and there, but he'll always remember as Crocodile Dundee. I mean, just a really fun character, real enjoyable. Really cool, though. I always thought he was cool. I was like, I wanted to be Crocodile Dundee when I was a kid. I was like, man, I used to pretend, like, used to play pretend, and I used to, like, play pretend that I was Crocodile Dundee, and I was, like, wrestling alligator or something like that. I was like, man, I want to be Crocodile Dundee. This guy's so cool. But, I mean, you got so many, it's an iconic movie. I mean, you got the, That's Not a Knife. this is a knife, and he pulls out that giant knife. I mean, one of the great lines of all time. Uh, yeah, a lot of great stuff in here. And yeah, so I was like, cool. Like, I definitely would love to have this in my collection. It reminds me, again, growing up watching this on TV and always really having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, got Crocodile Dundee. Next, we got more Star Trek. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get the whole series now because I got the package with all the originals, all the Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, so now I got the new. In fact, I'm pretty sure I bought this maybe and gave it to my parents because I thought I'd get the Blu-ray at some point, but evidently never did. And so here I got the DVD of it. So this is the first of the new series that takes the original cast of Captain Kirk and Spock and all that, and just recast it with new actors, with Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, I believe, and you got Zoe Saldana in there as well as Uhura. Actually, a really good cast. You got Carl Urban there as Bones, Anton Yelchin before he passed away, playing Chekhov. Let's see, who am I missing? Oh, Eric Bana is of course the villain here, and forgetting the name of the guy who plays Scotty. Simon Pegg is so good as Scotty as well. Anyways, also the first time we ever see Chris. This is before Chris Hemsworth became a big actor. He played Kirk's father at the beginning of the movie. He's only in it for a very short period of time, but then he would go on to be Thor and then blow up as an actor and become a huge actor. Anyways, yeah, this is J.J. Abrams, like maybe third movie or something like that. And his first big franchise. He did the first 2 Star Treks, then he wanted to do Star Wars, and then he's hadn't done a movie since. But yeah, I remember at the time thinking this was a pretty fun movie. It's a pretty interesting take on the original characters. Anyways, I still think the villain was kind of weak, and the whole storyline of like time travel is a little weak. Like, we've had a lot of time travel, plots before. So none of that was as good, but I mean, still had some good humor in it and shot very well. I think J.J. Abrams is a very good director. So anyways, so yeah, got the first Star Trek of that trilogy, I guess. And we haven't had one since Star Trek Beyond. Here we got Love Story. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so this might be a good movie for you to watch on Valentine's Day. Love Story. It says right there, it's a love story. But yeah, this was I thought this was actually a really good romantic comedy kind of. There's some drama too, but I guess you'd call it a romantic comedy. Big hit movie. Got nominated. It says right here, got nominated for 7 Academy Awards. So, including Best Picture, including Best Director for Arthur Hiller. Both Ryan O'Neal and Catherine McGraw got nominated for Best Actor, Best Actress. And man, Catherine McGraw, I believe her name is. I hope I'm saying that right. Ally McGraw. I don't know why I said Catherine. Ally McGraw. Ally McGraw. Oh my gosh, like that. This is one of those movies where I saw it and I was like, I fell in love with Ally McGraw. I like watching it and going, man, I want to marry Ally McGraw. She's like so beautiful, so funny. Just, I don't know, everything about her. I was just like, man, I just fell in love with her too. Like, how could you not? And yeah, so it's one of those stories where they meet and they hate each other, but then they fall in love. Anyways, and there's a lot of good humor in it as well, I think. And there's one of the most famous lines. Love means never having to say you're sorry, which he says to him one time. Iconic. Also, the music score is so good. It's one of my favorite musical scores. In fact, I have the Love Story soundtrack as well on vinyl that I got at one point. Anyway, so yeah, Love Story. All right, got another not romantic, but another comedy. This is more raunchy comedy, but this is Bridesmaids. Yeah, what a funny movie. I mean, really, like, I remember when it came out and thinking, Bridesmaids, who wants to see that? And then I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely hilarious. Kristen Wiig, oh my gosh, she wrote the movie, she co-wrote the movie, stars in it, and this is by far, I think, her best movie, best performance that she's ever given. And I was a big fan of her from Saturday Night Live, of course, so I was all for her, getting to star in her own movie. In fact, that she wrote it, and I think got nominated for an Oscar for Best Screenplay. I believe this got a Screenplay Oscar nomination, so that's pretty cool. She got an Oscar nomination for it, and she's so good looking. Like I forgot how good looking she was at this time. And I thought, man, she's going to be a superstar. And she would do movies here and there, but I feel like nothing she's done since Bridesmaids has come close to the popularity of this movie. I mean, she even did like Wonder Woman 1984 and played a villain, and that movie kind of bombed. And she did that Ghostbusters movie that bombed with all female Ghostbusters. So it feels like she has had not as much success, which is too bad because I really like her. I think she's a super, super talented comedic actress, anyways. But great cast here throughout. Also, it was a really great star vehicle for Melissa McCarthy. Say what you will, like my friend Mike, I know is not a big fan of hers. She is very funny, and she's very funny in this movie. And I think I like her in certain movies. I think she does very well. But she did blow up after this because she got an Oscar nomination, which is crazy because it's a full-on comedic character, and she got an Oscar. She was so good at being funny that she got an Oscar nomination, which is hard to do because comedy characters don't usually get Oscar nominated. So that's how good she was in here. After this movie, man, she was starring like in so many movies. I mean, she was everywhere, and I think she got overexposed, and I think people don't like her anymore because her kind of humor definitely is very obnoxious. She's a bit of a physical comedian in a way, but she's a very over the top kind of character, and so her style kind of got old, I think, for a lot of people. I get it. I don't like everything, but I still am a fan of Melissa McCarthy. I was a fan of hers from the Gilmore Girls. I thought she was hilarious on that show. Anyway, so I'm always happy when she's in something. Especially more, she's probably better as a side character than she is a lead character. She did The Little Mermaid live action not too long ago. So she's gotten like 2 Oscar nominations in her career. So she's had such a good career so far. Anyways, but yeah, he also, I don't know the name of the other actresses, but all really good. But yeah, it's a good romantic comedy, I would say. There are some scenes that are a little, like the scene where they all have diarrhea. It's pretty gross, but I kind of skip over those type of scenes. But overall, absolutely hilarious. One of the best written comedies I think ever. All right, now we got a movie called Support Your Local Sheriff with James Garner. This is a really fun Western. It's a Western comedy, I guess I would call it, with James Garner kind of going through this town. They don't have a sheriff, and there's this villainous character played by Walter Brennan, who and his sons kind of run the town, and they need a new sheriff, and he's like a really good gunfighter, and so they kind of talk him into being the new sheriff. Anyways, James Garner's so good here. This is one of those movies that I remember watching as a kid and really I thought it was funny, and my parents watched it, so I watched it with them, and really always enjoyed this movie. Definitely one to check out if you haven't seen it. I think it's a real fun movie. A pretty good cast as well. It doesn't say everybody's name, but there's some really good actors in here. Like I said, Walter Brennan's great as the villain. Harry Morgan's in here. Harry Morgan's always great. There's another actor I want to say, but I can't remember his name. But anyways, yeah. Glad to get that in my collection. All right, got a couple movies left, and we'll be done with this video. All right, well, we got a TV series, and that is I Love Lucy, complete first season on DVD, which, again, I didn't know my parents had this, and I was like, oh, I'll definitely take this. Like I said, I'm trying to collect more TV shows as well, so I'd love to collect the I Love Lucy, one of the most classic, I feel like maybe not the first, but definitely one of the first sitcoms of all time that really was huge, like a huge sitcom that everybody loved. And I feel like all sitcoms kind of measure themselves to this one. Really kind of broke the mold in how a good sitcom is done. Anyways, and of course, Lucille Ball, so hilarious as the main character. Yeah, I really like this show. I've never seen like a full season of it, but I've seen episodes here and there. Always as a kid, always enjoyed I Love Lucy. My wife actually is a big fan of this. She actually already has like the complete series on DVD. So my wife already has this, but I like to keep her stuff separate from my stuff because I like to keep my stuff organized on my shelves, and she like just has them like in these plastic container things. Anyway, so I just keep our stuff separate so I can better organize my stuff and keep track of it and let her do whatever she wants with her stuff that she has. But yeah, so now I got my wife has it, now I have it. I can start collecting these as well, hopefully, and go through it. But this is the crazy thing. There's 35 episodes in one season. 35. That's a lot. I mean, when I was growing up, you would usually have maybe like 24 episodes in a season or 22. I think usually it was like 24 episodes in a season was normal. Today, it's like usually maybe 10 at most. A lot of shows I've seen 8 episodes or 6 episodes in a season. Yeah, so it's like if you're lucky if you can get like 10 episodes for a whole season. But back in this day, they did 35 episodes in one season. They just did so much more back in the day than we do now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, happy to start collecting I Love Lucy. And that's the last one. So that's all the DVDs I have for this box. Again, feel free to comment. What do you think about these DVDs? Do you have any of these yourself? What's your favorite out of them? Any childhood favorites like me? Love to read all your comments, and appreciate everybody that comments on these. Hope you're enjoying these out of the box. I got 2 more boxes to go through, and I'm trying to get through these boxes because as soon as I get through the box, I can start putting these on my shelf. So that's why I'm trying to get through all these boxes as soon as I can. And then I'll get back to my regular type of videos. But hopefully enjoy it, getting to see some variety of stuff that I've gotten, and either learn about new stuff that you don't know about, or maybe see stuff that you also really love. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you to all my supporters for subscribing to the video. Appreciate all of you and hope you have a good day.